All right, now this is Forrest's famous chart of total crypto market cap. So let me just talk about some things in general that we've learned, and then I'll let Forrest just like give you some details about this chart. So regarding Evergrande, we've heard that the Fed is sitting around with a $5 trillion bazooka. We just don't know how low equities have to go before they come in. We've also heard that there are big players buying Evergrande debt, betting that the People's Bank of China is going to have to bail that out. We've also seen a report that Goldman Sachs said the problem is not Evergrande in China. It's $9 trillion worth of debt from the cities, the municipal bonds of, the different cities and municipalities in China. So Evergrande could trigger something big. So there's a lot of balanced news and a lot of confusion. Why am I telling you about confusion when you came to me for clarity? Because it's okay to do nothing. Because as Forrest will tell you right now, crypto is a lot closer to fair value than equities. And Forrest, give us the details of this chart. Like, what would you be doing on a downdraft based on this chart?
Yeah. So anytime this chart drops to the trend line, right? Anytime total cryptocurrency market cap drops to the trend line, I personally will be buying very heavily, and I will be trying to buy strong projects that have been beat up really badly by either a black swan event or a bear market, right? So look historically, this is a linear trend line on a logarithmic scale. That y-axis is a logarithmic scale, right? When you have a linear trend line moving up on a logarithmic scale, that equates to exponential growth. So if we flipped this, if we can't because this is still image, but if we flipped this off of the logarithmic view and onto the linear view, you would see it would just look exponential. It'd be an exponential chart going up. And that's because crypto is really early on in its adoption curve. And if you know anything about adoption curves, right, and the network effect, they're exponential in nature. So right now, crypto is in its exponential phase of growth, right? So just imagine being able to just hop in long-term and ride an exponential growth curve in cryptocurrency or any asset. Well, that's what's happening in cryptocurrency right now. It's been going on for roughly 7 years. And yes, we do get these spikes, right? These bull markets where we get overvalued against the trend line, but we've never come down and broken the trend line with any real conviction. We've tested it. You can see there on the left, we tested it back in 2015, popped right back on top of it. We had a pandemic crash that crashed all markets, a black swan event that made us wick below it for a month. But I mean, by the time we actually closed that candle, it was pretty much on the trend line, maybe slightly below it. So we've never actually really broken this trend line. So it stands to reason that long-term, this trend line should hold for at least some time, or at least we would expect it to be real support. Now, eventually, right, we can't grow exponentially forever indefinitely, right? That's just not realistic, right? Unless the Fed just continues to print exponential money. But, eventually the party has to end. And eventually this will probably curve out into a logarithmic curve, right? A logarithmic growth curve. But right now we're in that exponential phase, and we can benefit from learning from a 7 to 8 year old trend line that hasn't been violated yet, knowing that if we drop down to this fair value trend line, it's the buying opportunity of a lifetime, or the buying opportunity of, a market cycle, right? But what this also shows is that historically we've been much higher in terms of the bubble we're in. Yes, we're in a little bit of a bubble above this trend line, right? Everybody freaks out about the word bubble, like, oh, bubble means it's going to pop and it's going to crash. And yes, we are preparing ourselves for the potential black swan event, right? There is a potential black swan event where this thing could wick right back down to this trend line. It could fall right back down to 800 billion to 1.2 trillion in total cryptocurrency market cap, right? That would be roughly a 50% drop, right? I don't know if you guys were here back in June when we actually saw the 50% drop. So if we got a 50% drop from where we're at today in total cryptocurrency market cap, we could see an opportunity to actually buy this trend line. Now, on the flip side, right, we are in a bubble, but bubbles can go much higher. Look at the previous two bubbles. They went to 1,400 and 1,200 days to fair value as measured on the x-axis, right? And you can see there at the on the right top right-hand corner, just got some arbitrary measurements of if by the end of the year, right, New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, December 31st, if we were 1,000 days to fair value, which we've been 1,400 in the past, we've been to 1,200 in the past. If we were just 1,000 days to fair value, we would be at almost almost exactly 3 times, a little over 3 times the total cryptocurrency market cap we're at right now. So we could still see a parabolic move, right? We could still withstand a 3x move from here, right? But we could also see a 50% drop. So that's roughly our upside and roughly our downside. Now, if you ask me, in the long term, the risk to reward ratio makes sense. So just keep in mind that if you're in crypto, you're watching Token Metrics on YouTube, you're a crypto Token Metrics subscriber, you're in the right marketplace, you're in the right industry, you're on the right YouTube channel, you're doing the right things. Yes, there's going to be some volatility on the way. So what if we see a 50% drop and everybody's portfolios drop by 70%? We're going to buy more on the trend line and we're going to make so much money on the way back up to the next bubble over this trend line. We just have to be patient, right? So you're in the right place. You've come to the right channel.
Token Metrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams. Learn more at tokenmetrics.com.